these men committing suicide? Why are they dying? It's because they don't have people to support them. They don't
understand that most feminists are actually in stable relationships.
But nowadays, it's like we are fighting with men.
Politics, busy and FEMTALK, busy and mental, busy and bluntly candid.
Hello guys, welcome back to BCN Unfiltered Podcast. This is the first ever episode of FEMTALK, and as you can see today I have with me amazing ladies. I would want them to introduce themselves from my left, and let them introduce themselves first and then we'll continue. From my left.
Hi guys, my name is Yvonne Makandi. I'm just a student. I is passionate about such topics.
What are you studying?
International relations and diplomacy.
Next.
Hi, my name is Lucy. I'm also a student. I'm studying international relations.
Okay, next.
Hi everyone, I am Veronica Moirore. A girl and a student. I'm pursuing international relations. I'm also a feminist. Yeah, and I love engaging in such conversations.
Nice. To my right.
Hi, my name is Abigail Shigadi. I'm a daughter, a sister, and a friend. I'm a second year student taking political science with IT.
Nice. So, ladies, feel welcomed to the podcast. And today I wanted us to discuss first about feminism in general and okay, let me start with you, if you're okay with that, your overall opinion on what feminism is, and do you think feminism has achieved its goals so far, really?
Okay, in my perspective, feminism is a movement that is trying to eradicate the patriarchal system in our society.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say it has totally reached its goals, but we are getting there.
Okay, that's fair. Vero?
Okay, so feminism is a discussion I love so much, and feminism is a movement, and feminism is, we need to understand that it's social, political, cultural. It is multifaceted in the sense that when you talk about feminism, there's this common misconception of gender wars, of men, like
female.
Most men, when they hear the word feminism, it's a red flag to them. They think that this is a girl who demeans men, who wants to compete with men. But you need to understand that most feminists are actually in stable relationships and they don't hate men. Real feminists don't hate men. So feminism it's a lifestyle, actually.
Okay. So in short, you agree modern day feminism is different from the original feminism. Because here, squeezy, if you look at it very well, our feminists or squeezy on feminists, most of them, ni wale wenye wanabash men.
Yeah.
So they have completely changed ile narrative yenye feminism ilianza nayo. So that's why men wanaona wakisikia feminism wanaona hiyo ni red flag.
Yeah. So like we need to understand that feminism as a movement has evolved over the years. In the sense that initially they were fighting for voting rights, political rights. Then it evolved to payment, to like equal work opportunities, and then now it's then evolved to reproductive rights. And now, like the reason as to why I've said feminism is currently a lifestyle, because it has now incorporated all the fights of the women who came before us, and so now we are living in their fruits because we are the product of their work. That is why modern day feminism is multifaceted in the sense that you can't pinpoint a particular thing that we are fighting towards, but it's mostly because of the gender bias and to break the patriarchal norms.
Yeah, I've had that before. That's why I was smiling. So, Lucy, do you think feminism to achieve like penye tumefika sahi as a society, and when I say society, I mean the globe, to achieve ile goals to set up mara kwanza when feminism was invented, allow me to use the word invented, do you think to achieve as many of the goals really? Ama some other states, some other countries, they're
When-
struggling.
When it comes to the feminism, I think right now the current feminism is a bit complicated compared to the past. In the past, people knew what they were fighting about, what they really wanted, and what they don't want. It was well outlined. But nowadays, it's like it's a bit complicated. It's like we are fighting with men. So, and despite me being a lady, sometimes I don't even agree with some of the feminists. Yeah, but I think we should just fight for what is right. I don't know what they want to achieve because right now it's a bit complicated compared to the past.
There's no specific goal that
there's
the
no
modern
goal.
feminism
Nowadays
is
it's like we are fighting with the opposite gender.
inakanika tunapigania position ya men.
Yeah.
Your opinion, unafikiria tumeachieve anything really?
Okay, my opinion about feminism. I don't feel that we have really achieved anything regarding the topic because it's always about the conversations. We don't see the actions. So what are we doing beyond going with placards for campaigns? What are we doing for those that choose to be in such circumstance to be violated? You see, most of the time, feminists, they are on the run for the campaigns. We are talking against men, right? But what are we, like the girls that advocate against feminists? What are the strategies that we're putting in place to help do? For example, in Kenya, mostly feminism needs wababa and the girls, right? So how are we creating other jobs so that the girls can have alternatives?
So in short, you're saying kwa job space kuna venye there's no equality, women are not given spaces. What are you trying to say?
And you talked about wababas and the girls. What about it?
Okay, so mara mingi we will find tukisikia like the discussions that we hear ni girls. So what basically feminism ni girls wakiuliwa, right?
No, that's femicide. Feminism ni ile fighting for women's rights, but that's femicide in Yongle. We are going to that in the next conversation, but we are talking about feminism.
Okay, thank you for the correction. So what I'm trying to say is we need to do more than the discussions and the conversations.
Okay, so we need more action than now just talking on social media and all that.
Yeah, just to add on what she has said about the conversation is always about men and women against men, right? Well, I feel like men are privileged. They were born in a patriarchal system, and they don't have to fight for their rights because like that's how it was then and it still is right now.
But I want to disagree with her because when we are talking about men rights, I think even in this generation, men are the ones who are suffering more compared to ladies. Because take for example, right now where we are, how many students have committed suicide? Who are they? They are men. Why are these men committing suicide? Why are they dying? It's because they don't have people to support them. They don't have people to hear them. People, when a man wants to raise an issue to somebody, they feel like, ataniona aje. Haya macha tu ninyamazie. Men are dying, especially where I am right now. I know of a school when I don't know 3 men committed suicide in a week, right? Why not women? So in such things, so I think that for us now we enjoy a lot of things compared to men.
I beg to differ.
Okay.
I beg to differ. You know, in as much as we are speaking about child empowerment, in as much as the girl is empowered, I feel like the boy child, the man, has not yet been taught how to live with the empowered girl. And now this is the society to blame. Like, here we are blaming the society. And I feel
are we blaming the society or should we blame men themselves for not fighting for their own rights? Because us as women, we woke up and fought for our own rights.
And exactly what Bridget had said before, the system was male. The system was patriarchal. You all have been enjoying rights since time immemorial. You even created the first. I mean, we came as your companions.
It's our time to enjoy life.
So I really feel like it's upon men to start fighting for their own rights and to just accept the problems, because once men accept the problems they're facing, then they shall come with ways to solve their problems instead of feeling insecure when women air out their issues. And also another misconception about feminism, as I had said earlier, ni like your gender wars, that women are coming to take up spaces that were taken prior by men. No, women are equally qualified. That is why we are in school.
What a man can do, a woman can do even better.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So you see, if we were talking about women just being given positions without even caring of the qualification of their level of academics or just their capacity to handle such tasks, that could have been unfair. But right now, we are in school, we are equally qualified. Actually, last year in our school, the first class honors, how many girls were there?
We had three
girls, three girls from our school, from the courses we're pursuing, had first class honors. That just goes ahead to show you that women are equally capable of doing such things. And also, there's this thing about equality and equity. You see, an example of equality is, let's say we are in a school, then it's a primary school somewhere. Then all the students are given similar textbooks, similar revision materials. So that is equality, where everyone is given everything that is there. But we have equity. Equity is realizing that in as much as the school has provided revision materials and books for everyone, there's a student who is struggling somewhere. So that student can get extra tuition hours, that student can get extra attention as compared to the other one who is, let's say, brighter than the other one. So that is equity. Okay. What real feminism champions for is equity rather than equality.
I'm glad today you gave us. I think I was today years old. I learned the difference between equity and equality. So I wanted us to go to the next topic, which is femicide. But okay, finish up and then we'll come back later.
Men should not see feminism as a threat, because if you're really masculine, then you shouldn't be threatened by ladies.
Yeah.
Topic of conversation, Amma, let's talk about femicide and the increase of femicide cases in Kenya. And mkiangalia juzi, actually, I think it's a week old, if not a week old, si kitambo sana. One of the students of MMU, a lady, was killed by the boyfriend. Okay, hatuwezi sema alimuua kwa nini juu hatujui, but because women have been killed, hii mwaka tunajua we've lost a lot of lives when it comes to women. So ile kitu mimi nashindwa ni, as women, how can we stay safe to ensure we are not victims of femicide? Like, wewe mwenyewe, what do you think you can do, ama you can advise someone to do to ensure they're not victims of femicide? Acha nianze na Tivero.
Wow. Always have the courage to walk away when you have to. Because I feel women, we put up with a lot. Like, walking out inakuwa so difficult with some of us. Now, for example, in the case of a boyfriend killing a girlfriend, this girl saw the signs saw the signs, but she chose to remain there, trusting that the boyfriend is going to change.
But walking out is not always that easy as, it's easier said than done.
Yeah, it's not always easy, but you can at least try to talk to a friend who can hold you accountable. Because you cannot keep on staying away. Choose yourself first. I guess also, to avoid being a victim of femicide, it starts with self-love. What do you stand for as a girl? What do you stand for yourself? You see, so when you actually stand to love yourself, you're not going to stay with someone who is violating your peace. And it's not easy, but you choose to make it easy. It's always a choice. The fact that it's not easy, you just don't see it.
Yeah, you need to get yourself out of that situation.
Yeah.
But wallpaper says, we also need to acknowledge the fact that not all perpetrators are boyfriends. There was this case, it was late last year. There was a family, the mother and the daughter, they were slaughtered and butchered. Their body parts were put in bags. Their relatives.
Yeah.
So like the perpetrator does not really have to be your boyfriend or someone you're having a romantic relationship with.
Are we redefining femicide? Because I think we have always assumed femicide is always a boyfriend killing a girlfriend. So I think we need to redefine your meaning of femicide.
The assumption is a misconception.
Yeah. Okay.
Me, my point on that, I'll still differ with you guys. It's not always about women all the time. It should also be about men. Why you guys should ask yourself, why are these men killing these women? Because not all women are feminists. And like let me say, for example, most of I just realized most of these men who kill women, these are men with low self-esteem. Yeah, they have low self-esteem. So instead of always like women, why don't you also talk about men? Why don't you educate these men? Why don't you give these men a priority? Why don't you tell them if a woman doesn't like you, you can go and look for another lady? Because look at this boy, because the statement that the mother was giving out about the lady at CG walikuwa kwa relationship, no at CG the boy was wanting her by force,
Yeah.
It's a bit, it's not coming out clear.
Yeah.
And when let's say the man is the problem. Why do you think the man is the problem? That is where we should give these men priority. Let them hear their views. Let them tell us how they want to also to be, let them tell us how they also want to be helped out. Because this man mwenye aliua huyu dem, if maybe angeitwa aambiwe tu achana na huyo dem, maybe let's do this, try another lady, hizi vitu hazingekuwa. And also as the women, of course, we are not perfect, but feminism is for defending women, the victim, of course. The victim is always a woman. So I think
allow me.
Ongea kutoke.
Honestly, I am sad that such comments could come from a fellow lady. What do you mean that? Number one, it is the women who are victims, which is true. We are talking about femicide. Femicide became a term to categorize women, to categorize gender violence against women. That is why women are the victims here, and that won't change. And also, the global statistics on femicide.
Can I just ask you one question? What do you think is to be blamed that pushes men to? Because now we have said we're not talking about relationships, like men who kill women generally. What do you think is the reason why they commit such heinous? I'm not trying to say we are justifying those heinous acts, but I'm just trying to understand what do you think? Yeah, the why. What do you think they are doing that?
Number one, toxic masculinity is to blame.
Okay.
And entitlement. Because men have been taught by society, I guess, that taking a woman out, buying stuff for her equals her body, equals, like, relationships are now transactional. And in the sense that there was this time that there was a man, when there was the first end femicide major campaign in the country, there was a man who was saying, nikikupeleka KFC ukule pizza yangu, nikikupeleka sijui wapi ukule kuku, alafu unaniambia utalala na mimi nitakuua. He said that on live TV.
Yeah, I remember.
And it's so sad that kumekuwa in Kenya, there's that culture, that entitlement culture. And I feel like that should not be the case.
Okay, let me ask you, don't you think that men pia wanafeel wamefinyiliwa for long? That's why wanaona the best way to retaliate is through violence. Because women, we have been empowered, right? So a man has not been empowered on how to deal with women. No. So anapatana na mde mwenye amekuwa empowered, ameambiwa you can speak your emotions, you can put your emotions into words. But mwanaume anaona kama ukitry kumwambia venye una feel, and ni kama unatry kubishana na
Sasa it creates an argument rather than a conversation. The woman I began by saying, boy child has not been taught how to live with an empowered woman. And it's upon it's upon like the society at large to just, even when in school, I remember in primary school, tulikonga tunaletwa these speakers, girls talk, nini. Maboy walikuwa anaachwa class. And then like we used to come back like, okay, tumepewa like sanitary towels, tumepewa inawea, and then maboy tu wamechill kwa class. I feel like that is where we started going wrong as a society.
But tukianza kuempower men, akipoleni na cut short, because I'm not against the idea of empowering men, but don't you think once tunaanza kuempower men,
we are teaching them how to live with the empowered woman, because they have been empowered since
patriarchal, they've been born in the patriarchal society. But don't you think tukiwa empower tunawaambia you can put your emotions into words, ama you can cry, inawafanya wanakuwa weak,
and they can deal with their traumas.
And
there's nothing wrong
with dealing with the traumas. But don't you think a man is supposed to be tough, and being tough niyo ignoring the traumas? Because once umeanza ku address your traumas,
once they ignore their traumas, they're using us as punching bags, and that's not fair.
It's generally called trauma dumping.
But you know, there are men out here who are gentlemen, but they're hyper. They're working with so much trauma. So as a man, you just have to have an emotional intelligence and know women are emotional beings. So that's just supposed to be taught on how to deal with these emotions of a woman and not use violence. Because I'm pretty sure most of the time men are violent. Okay, I'm talking in instance ya relationship. They're always violent because wana feel the only way wanaweza nyamazisha mdem ni kumweka kofu. Because akikuongelesha na ni kama mimi siwezi bishana na mdem. The only way mimi naweza ongelesha mdem ni kumweka kofu.
That's what
masculinity comes when you don't deal with your traumas and you.
And I know for a fact that a secure man, a true masculine man will never lay hands on a woman. Simply because a woman, honestly, surely, mtu tu anashana twice my size.
But let's face
it.
But let's face it, like, let's be realistic. You can't say you've fully dealt with your trauma. Whether you're male or female, you can never fully deal with your trauma. So it's a work in progress. So basically, we're all in agreement that men should, to ensure tunakati femicide ama tuna reduce femicide cases, men should just learn to be emotional, or they should learn the emotional intelligence and work on their trauma.
And also the perpetrators, you know, when we have been talking about all this, we are only mentioning the victims. We have talked about Sharon Kibolto who had died. We talked about Rita Eni. We are only mentioning the victims. But I feel like if the perpetrators ndio wangekuwa wanachukua limelight, in the sense that so and so killed this and this, not Sharon was killed by this one. Listen, because like this person is already the victim, yet yeye ndio anakuja kwa limelight. She's dead.
We're supposed to put a spotlight on the victim.
We are also
tukienda kwa perpetrator, kila mtu atakuwa anataka kuua ndio akwe famous.
Hapana, check it. You are viewing it wrongly. Because this is a person who has undergone so much. Unambona yeye ndio ako kwa limelight. Why are we not shaming the perpetrator, the person who did it?
And the justice system also is still not doing its job properly, because ukikuwa persecuted, one of the things they'll do is watakuuliza, they'll take you to a hospital or something, ama call a professional to check if you're mentally okay when you're doing that. That triggers me a lot. Like, he knew what he was doing and he still did it. He didn't stop. You see that person struggling,
fighting for their
mental
health doesn't know what they're doing. Someone who has mental health issues, bipolar, let's use ADHD, there's this other schizophrenia where you hear voices talking to you. You literally have no control over your mind. So you're not justifying. No, we are not justifying this murder, but we are just trying to explain why the murder happened. So we're supposed to address your mental health.
I think let's talk about men. Let's empower these men.
No matter men are empowered.
Not all men are empowered. How many organizations are there to defend the men? How many organizations are here in Kenya? Have you had any organization on the street fighting for men?
Kuna child initiative.
Can we come back?
Have you ever seen an organization on the street fighting for men? They're striking. Have you ever seen that?
Never. But on that note, let's come back. On that note,
that's why we want them to come out. We want to empower them also. We want to teach them up to be with these empowered women.
It's okay, but then are they willing to do that?
Thank you.
Thank you. Are they willing to be empowered? Let's get back.
And why are they not willing to be empowered?
That's the issue, not
Why?
ours.